right, Jenna, another episode of the Blue Demon Room podcast. We have been so lucky with our guests.
We really have.
We have.
Yeah.
And we have Ryan Thomas, who's one of the senior defenders on the DePaul men's soccer team. We had Plotty on the show last year before you graced us with your presence, and he was hilarious, a great guest. I feel like the whole soccer team has a really good vibe.
And I think you said the word was they kind of remind you of Ted Lasso.
They're the cast of Ted Lasso, and
love
Ryan
this.
should be a character on Ted Lasso in the next season. We're looking at you, Apple TV.
Yeah, we're looking at you.
But I just this conversation, we had a pre-call with him, and he was just so full of energy, so full of life, and I just love that he takes inspiration from his family back in England, but has brought it to the States, and he's the perfect mix of a student athlete with goals and dreams, but also just a guy trying to have fun. He likes to cook. He loves to binge TV shows. So we're going to find out what he is watching right now, because I feel like you and I are so busy. We don't have time to watch TV. So it's important to make a list and just take his word for it.
I try, but my problem is me and all my family share passwords, which sorry, we do. But Netflix has made it impossible for me to get onto Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I'll go on and I'll watch it and I'll pause, and then they're like, "You've been logged off," and I'm like, I cannot call my sister for the fourth time today to ask her to check her email account, because that's what I'm doing, and it's insane at this point, and it's out of control.
Yeah,
but hopefully he'll give us some suggestions.
No, I think so. And Ryan is just a ray of sunshine, really fun to be around. He's the guy that everyone will be asked people who should we have on the podcast, and when Sonia's we're booking our next guest, she has talked to other student athletes and other people, and they've all said him.
So that speaks volumes of his character and who he is.
He's in high demand.
High demand.
Even Plotty.
And even
seriously,
Plotty
even the
said
coach?
that.
Yeah, no, I was like, okay, who from your team, should we get on here? And he was like, obviously Ryan.
Right. So, and last year, the guys on the soccer team asked Plotty questions that he would answer on our show. And Ryan's question, oddly enough, was Coach, how did you meet your wife at DePaul? I need to find a girlfriend. I need to find a wife. So it was really so sweet.
So are we
wholesome.
trying to find Ryan a wife now?
Okay,
Is that what we're doing?
Let me clarify that. First of all, it was so odd. All of them were I was you can ask him anything. Literally 4 or 5 of them
boundaries.
in a row.
They all
wanted to find love.
We're Plotty, how do I get a girlfriend?
That's so cute.
How do I find a wife?
Maybe we should put him on a dating show instead.
I was for Ryan's, I asked him the same thing. I was asked Plotty a question, but he didn't just say how can I get a wife? He was Chloe, I need a green card, man. How do I?
Exactly.
I won't say that this happened. But I will say that I might have, but I don't. I don't know of anyone who has gotten a green card marriage, but I've heard of someone who maybe has. And
wink, wink.
Wink, wink. And I was at the wedding.
See, so it can happen.
It can happen. I've seen it, but it's not real, because that's not a thing that we do. It's not. No, that would never happen. It's not a thing. I'm kidding. It's totally a joke. It's the plot of the show that Ryan was telling you about. Clearly, that's on Apple TV.
And I think that after we have Ryan on the pod, which you guys will hear soon, we're gonna get him on a dating show.
We're gonna set Ryan up.
That's
what the Blue Demon Room's turning into
that's
now.
what we're here for. Yeah.
All right,
why he's
ladies
on
and
the show.
gentlemen,
Right,
up is Ryan.
That said, here's our conversation with Ryan Thomas. Welcome back to the Blue Demon Room podcast. We've got another great episode for you. I am one of your hosts, Casey Standahar. This is my co-host, Jenna Duddleston. And we are really excited to bring in Ryan Thomas today, one of the defenders for the DePaul men's soccer team. Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We've talked a lot with our producer, Sonia, who helps us book our guests, and she said she was asking around and that who should we have on next? Who should we have on next? Everybody said you. Why do you think that is?
Just a little bit of a
Don't
social
be modest.
butterfly.
I can see you're trying to be modest over there. Don't be modest.
I'm just a sociable person, you know what I mean? I'm a pretty chatty person, and I get on well with a lot of people in the AC and stuff. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. I want to say I'm not surprised, but when you say stuff like that, I'm yeah, I can imagine. Some people would definitely he'd last the whole episode. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously your accent gives you away. You're not from here. That's okay. So tell us where you grew up and just kind of what it was like where you grew up.
So I grew up in Cambridge, England. It's the east of England. My dad he's in the British Army, so we traveled a lot when I was younger, and then kind of settled down once my brother and I were born. So I grew up mainly there. Yeah, it's nothing special. It's nothing like America, that's for sure. It's a lot quieter, but you know, it does the job. I'm near London, about 50 minutes away. And my favourite soccer team is Arsenal, who play in London. So when I was younger, I used to be able to go up and watch their games a lot. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, nothing special. I have some amazing friends there. A lot of people that I've met there that I'd say are like lifelong friends. But yeah, it's not great.
Well, I mean, sometimes people don't love where they're from.
No,
they
that's
go
true.
back and it's still home, you know?
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Every time I go home, I have a great time, you know,
Yeah.
being around my family, seeing my friends. But I feel like it's hard to go back home now after living in America. Like when I first left England, I was like, oh, no, I need to go somewhere warm. I was like, the weather in England is not it. I have to go somewhere
you
warm.
picked
So
Chicago.
Came here in the winter.
I was like, okay, I'm going to Florida. And then when I was transferring, I remember my dad saying to me, he was like, so you left England to go Chicago in the winter?
Honestly.
He was like, you're going to need to get a big jacket. And I'm thinking, England's cold. It's not going to be that bad. I remember landing on the plane. And it was snowing the day I landed.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
said, what have I got myself into?
Turn back around. Can I get
Stepped
back on this
outside the
plane?
plane and I was like, yeah, you know what? This is brutal. It was
Yeah.
cold.
Oh my gosh. Well, we know that England is known for soccer and it's a big deal there. But what made you want to come here to play in the States and to play at DePaul?
I think for me, it was just the opportunity. I played at an academy in England, like my local academy. Played for them till I was 16 and then kind of played semi-professional till I was 18. And for me, it was like a lot of my friends, I kind of stuck in the system of playing that semi-professional route. And education was a big thing for me. And in England, it's kind of very separate. Soccer and school are kind of separate. They're not combined like over here. And I remember when I was at the academy, people would come into our club and like spoken to us about, oh, you know, America, come out here, you do university, you play soccer. Like for me, it was like, oh wow, what an opportunity. But I didn't really know much about it. Like there wasn't really a lot about what I was gonna do. So I kind of went in there open-minded. I say I'm a pretty open-minded person. So I was like, you know what, whatever. And my mum was like, Ryan, are you sure? Like, you know how far away that is? And I was like, Mum, like, what else am I gonna do? She was like, okay, fine. My dad was like, go, go, go. He was ready to get rid of me. I was like,
He's
wow,
like,
Dad,
get
at
out.
least-
I want him out of the house.
you know what I mean? At least seem a bit disappointed I'm leaving. But my mum was like, I remember at the airport, my dad, he's like, yeah, go enjoy yourself. My mum's in tears. I'm in tears. Brother's in tears. My dad's just like, yeah, all the best.
See you later.
All the best.
That's dads for you, man. So had you been to the U.S. before you like got on that plane and had that moment? Had you been over here before or no?
So I came out 2022 June. And in 2022 July, I came out here for a week. Like I said, I wanted to go somewhere warm. So I said Florida or California. I said, I'm not going nowhere cold. Miss me with that. So
We got ya.
I went over to Florida and visited schools. I have like family over there that I hadn't seen in a little while as well. So we kind of went over, my mum and I went over, visited a few schools, and it was awesome. The junior college I ended up at wasn't the school I visited, but someone I knew from back home went there, and he was like, look, like, we're looking for someone in your position. Would you like it? And at the time, like, I'd had offers, and I was like, okay, cool. I actually verbally committed to a school, and then he came and was like, yeah, come here. And then I told that coach, I was like, look, I'm going to Eastern Florida. And he was like, okay, perfect. We've got players from that school. So for me, it was like, I didn't know much about it, but like I said, I was open-minded. I could kind of get my foot in the door and then go from there. And yeah, it actually worked out really well. I loved it. It was awesome.
So when you first got to Florida, what was your first impression?
Oh, I was excited the whole time. I remember like, I'd be hanging out with my friends saying bye to them. They're like, how you feeling? I'm like, I'm so excited. And then kind of, I got to the airport and obviously like first emotions, saying bye to your family and stuff, that was always hard. And then I landed in Florida and I was like, whoa, what am I doing? Like, I landed in Orlando, massive airport. I'm thinking.
Oh no, that was your introduction to America. I'm so sorry. That's brutal.
I had to get on the train to get my bags.
Oh,
I'm
and there's
thinking,
Mickey Mouses everywhere and kids yelling and snots.
That's what
and
I'm saying. It was brutal. I landed and I just remember stepping outside. It was so hot. I was like, this is like it. I was buzzing, I won't lie. Got picked up with my coach and yeah, like I think it hit me then kind of once I'd actually touched down in Florida, like wow, this is what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, I mean, I loved it. Like no regrets about it at all.
So you did the JUCO path, which obviously is, I think, we know people that do it, but it's not as popular. It's not maybe as talked about. So can you kind of explain what led you to do that path instead of just going like straight to like a bigger university?
Yeah. So I was, I've always been like academically pretty good. I was eligible for D1 from the start. That was always my goal. And the school that I was verbally committed to was Division 1. But at that time, obviously, like COVID was still a bit of a crazy thing. Like it was insane. And like the coaches said to me, well, we haven't really seen you play. We've only seen film of you. It's kind of hard to like give you a great offer.
Yeah.
So whereas junior college, it's very much like they give people opportunity. And my coach at my junior college was English. So he knew what level I was playing at. Like he understood what player I was. So I think that was a big thing for me, like kind of still having that close to home feeling. But junior college is, I'd definitely say something slept on. I was fortunate enough, my junior college was phenomenal. Like it was a great school, great facilities. We were really fortunate. Obviously not every junior college is like that, but I was really lucky with the one I ended up at. And, you know, to be seen in junior college, you have to do well. Like that's just how it is. It's a results-based thing. Like coaches aren't going to watch you if you're not winning games, making a national tournament. So for us, it was like we had a lot of players that had ambitions to go on Division 1, Division 2, play at big schools. So yeah, it was really interesting kind of seeing how the setup was. Because like I said, I didn't really know much about junior college. So for me, it was like, okay, just be open, like see how it happens, you know what I mean? And yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing.
Football, where you're from, is, you know, worldwide the biggest sport in the world. But you move to a place where that's not the case. American football is king here, and it's so different. So what's it like kind of adjusting to the sport of soccer not being, I guess, as big of a deal in the States, but it's still a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was nightmare when I first got it. I remember I was in Walmart one time and some lady was like, oh, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm here to play football. And she was like, you're a bit small to play football. And I was like, oh, soccer.
Different football, yeah.
And she was like, oh, sorry, my bad. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's fine. Like, I got to adjust that as well. So that, like adjusting to saying soccer was a big thing for me. Like, oh, like I can't just go out and say football and everyone, oh, you know what I mean? But no, I love it. I think for me as well, it's a good opportunity to kind of like, you know, in England, like you said, soccer is the biggest thing. Like nothing comes close. Whereas over here, basketball, football, they're big deal. So for me, it was kind of cool. And like, I would have never really got into basketball, maybe a bit more, but football, I would have never got into it if I never came over it.
Yeah.
Like coming over here, like seeing it and like being able to actually experience it. Like college football, I try and explain that to my friends back home, and they're like, what? So the whole university, grown people with jobs are coming to watch.
Wearing
like,
jerseys,
guys,
being crazy.
Yes, like seriously.
There was I can't remember what game it was last college football season, but there's a creator I follow who said, I don't know how you explain this to people from Europe.
No.
Because what just happened on Saturday night, you know, in Baton Rouge is the craziest. But it is. It's like I would never.
Whole different thing.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally
For professional
different.
athletes, sure. But if you explain to people, oh yeah, like you're paying money to go see a university, they'd be like, what?
Yeah. It's
Absolutely
huge.
not. It is.
I mean, for me, I'm someone that likes college football more than I like the NFL.
See, and I'm
that's
the
not
opposite.
as popular.
I'm the same. I prefer college football.
I just like
find
the tradition
yeah.
and the bands and everything that goes along with it a little bit more.
And I think this as well, like that whole like college tradition in general.
Yeah.
Like you go support your college. Like people in England, they go to university and they're done with it. That's it. I'm out of there. I'm not going again. Whereas over here, it's like everyone's so tied to the school they went to.
It stays with you.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's definitely different. You mentioned you're a big Arsenal fan. So what was it like growing up, going to those games and supporting that team and being a part of that culture and atmosphere in England?
Well, funny story actually. My dad isn't an Arsenal fan. He's a Manchester United fan.
no.
But like I said, he travels a lot.
No
for
wonder
work.
he wanted you out of the house, man. Come
That's
on,
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
like, beat
I
it.
betrayed him from early. My mum is an Arsenal fan, so she was like, "Okay, here's what we'll do. Whatever team wins the league that year, Ryan will support." Arsenal ended up winning, but they were like, my dad was like, "No, I'm away. This doesn't count." So we came back, and I was already in my Arsenal gear. He comes home, he's like, "Why has he got that on? Take it off." I was not happy, and then my brother just followed big bro, so that was, you know, but Arsenal's like big deal. Like how people support college football over here, that's me with Arsenal. Like they'll ruin my mood if they do bad. people will see me walking around miserable. You know, I'll be walking around in my t-shirt,
Oh, no.
proud.
You are reminding me of my household. I am a White Sox fan. My mom's a White Sox fan. My dad's a Cubs fan. We are a house divided.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest. I'm a White Sox fan. All of my siblings are White Sox fans. That team affects my mood more than I care to admit.
No,
it is
100%.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
It is actually embarrassing.
Yeah, and I don't even know baseball. I know the White Sox weren't great last
No,
year.
we weren't. And
So-
that's saying something if you
Hey, they
know
won
that.
they won like 7 in a row.
We're doing
recently.
great now.
That's
But
good.
probably
Yes.
not when it matters.
Ryan, as of filming this episode, you guys have won, I think, every game so far. I mean, you guys are undefeated right now. What does that success feel like for you?
I mean, it feels great. You know, obviously, everyone wants to be successful,
Yeah.
but everyone can't be successful. And I think kind of seeing how far our team's come, even from when I'd say I've come in to now, I feel we've come so far, you know, and that's a reflection to obviously not just Plotty and the coaching staff and the players, but just everyone in DePaul in general. I don't feel it's like just our team. It's kind of like the whole athletics kind of, it just shows like how well everything's going. I definitely think DePaul's on like an upward trajectory, and you can see that in every team, and I think that's really important. But yeah, no, it's really good. You know, and I think what's interesting about us is we still want more. You know, we're happy with how we started. You know, we're like, okay, cool, we've done this so far, but what can we do next? You know, can we make history? Can we go on, do bigger things? So I think that's always, you know, we're not like happy, we're just settled. Like, okay, we've done this. It's like, okay, can we go for more? And I think that's important.
We're moving where we want to keep
Exactly.
moving.
Yeah.
We're on the path that we need to be on. So you're a defender, and I when I played volleyball, I was very like defensive. So it's like offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Let's be real. Do you ever get goosebumps or like a spike of adrenaline when you're in like the direct opposition that of like someone when you're like barreling down the field? Like what is like take me through your mind of like what that like moment is like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, like you said, defense does win championships, and like I think that is a big message that, as our defensive group, kind of always, you know, we're preaching about every game, every film session. I definitely say adrenaline, especially when it's like close games and it's like, oh wow, like one goal is going to be the difference here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we played Loyola the other day, and it's like, okay, are we going to be able to keep this, like, the lead? Are they going to score? Like, you definitely get that adrenaline. Nerves as well, that plays a part, but I
Yeah.
think that feeds into the adrenaline as well, you know, like, okay, we've got a 1-goal lead. Can we keep that? You know, how are we going to react if they do score kind of thing? So definitely adrenaline, but I think it's just exciting every time we step out on the field, you know, like, you really have a limited amount of opportunities, and obviously I'm a senior now, and I'm realizing that. I'm like, wow, like, I'm done 4 years already. It feels like I just got out here. So yeah, you know, I think it's just like a privilege to be able to put on that t-shirt every time, go out and play. So yeah, I definitely think that adrenaline is amazing. I'm gonna miss that as well after kind of thing.
And it seems like the coaching staff and the players, everybody is really friendly, gets along really well. You mentioned your friend George, who I think he saw DePaul before you even saw DePaul.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you kind of just took his word for it.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your relationship with him.
Well, so George and I met at the junior college we're at. We're both from England, but never knew each other before
Yeah.
that. So I guess that was a reason for us to click initially. But like, you know, there's just those people in your life that just everything like kind of just is the same. That was George and I, you know, we're like, we really are the exact same person. Like every time we walk around, like I'll be walking around on my own. They're like, where's George? Same thing kind of thing. So yeah, we played next to each other. So I think a lot of schools saw us as like a package deal. But George and I were meant to come on a visit here to the port at the same time. But I was going home the week he was coming here. So I said, listen, George, I want to go to the pool, but I'm going to, like, you're my review. You know, if you say it's bad, I'm not
take
going.
your word for
if you
it.
say it's
I'm
good,
out.
I'm going. So yeah, he went, loved it. And he just told me about everything. He kind of kept me updated. I was in the airport, and we must have called like 3 times that day. He was like, yeah, you'll love it. Coach is awesome, everything. It was like, okay, cool. So I went home, and we just had like one catch up. He was like, look, Ryan, like I think you will love it, you know. And I always know George has my best interest at heart. I have his best interest at heart. So I know he wouldn't have told me that if he didn't believe that I was thing. So I ended up rocking up to the pool, not knowing anyone. I'd spoken to 2 guys on the team on the phone, obviously coach, and that was it. And I was just like, you know what, whatever, let's go for it. I'm a chatty person, I'll make friends, we'll figure it out. But everyone was so welcoming. Like I landed and I met everyone, and it was just awesome kind of like seeing how welcoming everyone really was. Like, you know, I finally got accustomed to being at my school in Florida, making all these relationships and leaving that, kind of not knowing what to expect. I was definitely more nervous coming here than I was going to my junior college. So that was, I think, a big deal. But everyone was so good, and, you know, it was just amazing to see how everyone just welcomed me in. Like, I felt like I knew people for ages.
Yeah.
I'd been there for a week, you know, and I think that was just shows what DePaul is like anyway. I feel it's like one big family, and like
That's so good.
everyone was so good.
And
So,
you give off that energy too, so I feel like people feed off that with you, and just made the whole experience even better. Now that you mentioned you are a senior, knowing this is your last year, does it add any extra pressure, or does it affect your mindset with these games coming up?
I don't know about pressure. I would just say, like, you know what to expect now. Obviously, last year, even though I was a junior, it was my first year at the Division 1 level. So I think even though I was here winter and spring, and I think that helped me out massively, kind of getting used to the team, getting used to the standard. But I know what I'm capable of, and I knew I was capable of playing this level. So I backed myself anyway, but still you have those nerves of like, okay, this is the real deal now. Like, are you going to be able to cope? And I did. I've handled myself really well, and I was like, okay, cool. Coming into senior year, you know, let's go out with a bang. Let's go and, you know, do the best I can. So I wouldn't say pressure. I would more just say kind of excitement. Obviously, it's going to be weird senior day. I'm like, wow, like I'm done. But I think it will be like something that I look back at and be like, yeah, like I did everything well. You know, I handled myself well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to you earlier, and we were talking too, because I know that you said you love to cook, and Jenna likes to cook as well. So I'm kind of curious, like, what is the dish that you love to bake? You said your mom really inspired you to want to cook more. So what's like your specialty?
I'd say specialty right now, George and I are in like our steak bag right now.
Ooh, that's fun.
Every Sunday, you know, we'll go and have a little steak. That's nice.
What's the cut?
Medium rare.
No. Well, obviously that's the only correct answer. But I mean, like that's the only correct answer. Sorry for anyone else. You're wrong. The answer is you're wrong. No, like ribeye, fillet. Like, what's your like
Probably
cut?
a fillet.
Okay.
Yeah, fillet. I think George and I we've experimented, but yeah, I think fillet's our go-to now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've stuck with it for a little while.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm a big ribeye girl, and I like to cook
like
for
the
Casey.
fillet.
When
Yeah,
Casey
she-
comes over, I'm
she
just like,
makes me food all the time.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I have this idea. She's like,
Yeah.
great, I'll be your test dummy. Okay, I have a fun little bonus question for you before we let you get out of here. So we heard a rumor, and by we, I mean our producer, that you have quite the collection of Dior sneakers.
That's criminal.
You're shook.
No. First off,
We were investigating.
We have some. This is investigative journalism over here, okay, with the Blue Demon Room. So, how did we get into this? Like, what started the collection? How did we? Yeah.
I just love clothes and shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like, you know how everyone has something that they love
Yes.
to spend money on?
Yeah.
That's my retail therapy, let's say that.
Okay, so
Me
you're
too.
a fashionista. I love it.
Yeah, I do like...
I have 3 sets of shoes here with me right
Yeah.
now. Is that necessary? No.
Well, sure. Is there a certain pair that you have that you're like, I love these, I'll never get rid of these?
My go-to are Air Forces, but I'm at the stage now where it's like I have to keep them. Like, they don't come out unless it's like they have to come out. kind of
Yeah.
thing. They used to be like a little beater, but now I'm like, if they're not crispy white, I got to get a new pair. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think like, I don't know, fashion. My friends and I back home, we like dressing up and stuff. Like,
Sure.
You know, I think we like going out for dinner and things. So like, we like to look good. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look
course,
good. You know what I
no.
mean? So yeah, I think that's where that came from.
And we talked before the show too, and you mentioned that you're a big TV show guy. You love to binge TV shows. What are you watching right now? What should we be watching?
Right now, we're watching Snowfall. It's like
Snowfall,
a
okay.
yeah.
Where's
yeah.
that? What's that on?
I think Amazon. I want to say.
Okay.
I think good. It's just like a kid from LA, and he ends up like becoming this massive drug lord, crazy. But
What? Like Breaking Bad, but a kid.
I was going to
kind
say
of like-
Snowfall makes sense with
Now
the
I
Breaking
get it.
Bad,
Now I get it.
Narcos, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Prison Break's my number one. No, I've
Prison
watched
Break.
it twice.
I never watched it.
I've watched it twice.
Okay.
Season 1 will change your life. So seriously,
Done.
I need more
Prison
time.
Break.
Done. I will be
Paul,
watching
Paul
it.
agrees. Paul
You'll-
loves
Paul,
Prison
like,
Break.
yes,
you will
gotta-
you will literally season 1. I'd watched it. George hadn't, and I said, George, I will watch this whole thing with you.
Again, I love that. It's a true
And
friend.
I was watching it, like if I haven't already watched it, I'm like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? That's how good it is. So seriously,
great.
Prison Break. Money Heist, I like Money Heist. I'm a big Netflix guy. Okay. Big Netflix guy. But like, problem is like, I will rot on that sofa and watch everything.
Yeah.
I
Because
understand.
we have such a busy day. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm not moving.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to hang out. Don't ask me to do nothing. I've got my seat on the sofa. George has his. We've got our blankets. We're good.
Oh my God, you
love
guys
it.
are like a modern day Chandler and Joey from Friends.
Yeah.
literally.
Seriously, you guys are. Do you like call your neighbors next door and be like, can you pick up our food at the door? Thanks, bye.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
Well, Ryan, we wish you the best the rest of the season, and we're excited to have you on the show today. Thank you for taking the time and chatting with us.
Thank you
it's
for
been
having
great.
me.
Yes, we look forward to see more wins this season, of course.
All
Thank
the
you very
W's.
much.
All right, that's Ryan Thomas, Jenna Duddleson. I'm Casey Standahar. We will see you next time on the Blue Demon Room.